evening and welcome. Let's stand and give, do we need a motion to come back into? We're back in regular session. Sorry. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board members, you've received our minutes from the last meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Isgro.
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Sprague.
Yes.
Mrs. Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
I think we have do we have a representative from City Council tonight? Mr. Lauer, come on. You're on.
I'm Joel Lauer from City Council. I don't have a lot to say tonight, other than we were very proud to recognize the girls' bowling team. I'm very proud of you guys and representing our city. We did challenge them to a match as City Councilmen.
Oh, did you?
I gotta get with Missy today to see when we're gonna hold that. But I'd like to do it as a fundraiser of some sorts. We're gonna try and get together on that, Mr. Arvin and I. And we're also gonna just kind of promote bowling for these young men and young women. So I think there's a few things in the future that are coming up in the near future that'll be announced possibly, but things are going good with the city and we enjoy our relationship with the school board. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks,
Mr.
Joe.
Lauer,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lauer, I'm gonna cover any ante for the girls. If
What's
there's-
that?
If there's gonna be any side, I'm gonna cover the antes.
I think I got some change in my pocket.
Oh, Mr. Holbrook?
Yes, tonight we are here to recognize the varsity girls bowling team on their Division I state championship, and I think that deserves a round of applause to start with. And first, I'm going to have President Sprague read a resolution regarding the championship, and then what we're going to do is ask each member of the team to come up front here, and we've got a little something for you to commemorate, you know, the event. So, President Sprague.
Whereas on Saturday, March 12th, 2022, Hamilton High School's varsity women's bowling team competed in the state championship for the Ohio High School Athletic Association Division I State Bowling Championship. And whereas Hamilton High School faced Jonathan Alder High School in the finals of the Division I State Bowling Championship. And whereas a nearly standing room only crowd witnessed 4 truly exciting games where each team answered the other's score nearly frame for frame. And whereas during the 5th and deciding game in which the Big Blue rolled six consecutive strikes, that's pretty good, and defeated Jonathan Alder by a score of 232 to 178 for a solid 54-pin win. And whereas the Hamilton High School varsity women's bowling team secured the Division I OHSAA state championship and Hamilton High School's first bowling state title in program history. Now therefore be it resolved by the Hamilton City School District Board of Education the 2022 Hamilton High School varsity women's bowling team is hereby recognized for their tireless dedication, excellence, and effort, and is congratulated for their first state championship in school history. Congratulations.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ask our athletic director, Missy Harvey, to come up to assist me. I need more than 2 hands to do this. And I would like all members of the bowling team as well as coaches to step forward up here.
Just Bill, stand in the back.
Mike. Would you want them to say their name with the mic?
So what we're going to do, you're going to walk to the podium, state your name. We're going to hand you a little award, and then at the end, if we need to get a group picture for the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands that are watching this live stream. So, who's going to come first? Don't be shy.
Nick Arvin, head coach, girls varsity team.
Tim Arthur, assistant JV, girls JV coach.
Jessica Spicer, assistant varsity coach.
Madison Harnish, girls varsity bowler.
Allison Porter, girls varsity bowler. Emily Brenner, girls varsity bowler.
Kara Getz, girls varsity bowler. Madeline Clapper, girls varsity bowler. Gabby Bryan, girls varsity bowler. Shelby Deaton, girls varsity bowler. Lily Arvin, girls varsity bowler.
Chris Bruner, assistant coach, boys.
First time I touched it. You're not letting it go, are you?
Not at the moment. Darius Dethridge, boys varsity coach.
As you may or may not notice, this is kind of a big deal. You know, winning a state championship in anything is very difficult, but not only were you successful, you know, at the event, but the way that you've represented Hamilton through the last several years and what you've done is extremely extraordinary and something that you should never forget. And myself personally, the Board of Education, our staff are very proud of all of you ladies. Thank you very much for representing. You gotta get a couple pictures.
Can I go in the back?
Ready? Outstanding.
Great job.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. want me to? Yeah. I know our board meetings aren't that exciting, especially for high schoolers. So if you are dismissed, if you would like to leave, that's fine with us. And parents, the rest of you who are administrators, you got to stay.
And other parents.
And parents, yeah. But thank you for coming very much. Thank you. This time we have policies that have been recommended for us to approve. Mr. Holbrook, did you want to say anything about any of these policies?
These board policies have been recommended through Neola. Almost all are legal requirements to tweak our board policies, which we have to do periodically. These recommendations tonight are for approval.
Okay, so I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
And second, Mr. Hancock.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Sprague?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Holbrook.
Next on our agenda, we have 3 presentations from buildings this evening, and it's nice to get back to a little normalcy in having these presentations and allowing our schools and our administrators and that to connect closer with our board on what's going on the day-to-day operations. The first tonight is from our main campus at Hamilton High School. Mr. Zary and his administrative team is here this evening, and so I'm going to turn this over to you, John.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. Tonight, we have a presentation for you that we need a bigger podium up here. Okay. So what we want to do tonight is we want to encompass the great things that are going on at Hamilton High School main campus. For us to truly reflect how great of a place that is and the things that are happening there, we would need a much bigger venue with a much bigger room and a lot more time. Some folks that cannot be here with us tonight that need to have a shout out because of all the great things that they do. Our custodial workers, our cafeteria staff, our teachers, our clerical, our office workers, our fine arts, and our athletics, which you just seen right here, which is just a small piece. And thank you very much for bringing them up here and recognizing them tonight. We are much appreciated by that. Our career tech folks and also our mental health agencies, they all go into helping run the high school and making sure that students have the best opportunities for success possible. So tonight, what you see on this first slide here is there are 3 points that we want to make sure that we emphasize before we leave here. Growing culture, creating pathways, and focusing on the future. Now, I ask that when you see these slides tonight that you view these from a progressive lens. What we're going to talk about tonight is we are going to talk about the things that have been implemented this school year that are going to help not only just grow our culture, but they are going to help create pathways and opportunities for every single student that walks in through our doors. And that not only is going to be our main campus, but this is something that Mr. Smallwood and I have been collaborating on to where it's going to be a 9 through 12 continuum for all these services. What we want to make sure that we do is we identify and we recognize the diversity of all of our students, whether it can be a kid that's going to college, a student that wants to enlist, a student that wants to go to the workforce. There are different pathways within the high school that can be created, and it's our job to be creative, to use the resources to make sure that they have the best opportunity and experience when they come to Big Blue. So you're going to hear from 3 folks tonight, and I'll be really honest with you, they don't get enough credit because they have to put up with me day in and day out. But you're going to hear from our assistant principals. And it's unique at the high school because each assistant principal is responsible for a grade level. So you have Mr. Funston, who is in charge of the sophomore house. You have Mr. Molberg, who is in charge of the junior house. And Mrs. Watkins has the privilege of organizing graduation and prom and homecoming and everything else with the senior house. Each of them is going to take a part, and I think that it's important for them to speak tonight so that you hear from them because they're in the trenches every day. They are the ones that are out making sure that the vision and the mission is carried through by our teachers, by our students, by our support staff. Everyone has stake in this game. And without my assistant principals and the job that they do, we couldn't be where we're at right now at main campus with the progress that we have made. So we talk about Big Blue on the move in our hashtags on Twitter. I hope tonight that you see that Big Blue is on the move and that we are doing some things that are going to help put us on the map. And it's going to help put us on the map because of the product that we're going to produce for our community that's going to be able to show success and to help build our community stronger through our schools. So you're going to see forward thinking, you're going to see progress, and I also hope that you're able to make a connection from Mr. Smallwood's presentation a couple weeks ago that he gave so you can see the great things that are starting on the freshman campus, transitioning into the high school for the ultimate product of commencement and graduation in May. So I thank you for your time. You get a break from me for a while. I'll come in to close this out at the end, but I hope you like what they have to say, and please ask them questions, grill them. Please do that. Please do that. So to paint a picture of this, as we started this school year and we had objectives for our teachers, this is what we presented to our staff on the first day. This is what we are ingrained in every day. We use high quality data to drive our instruction. We want to increase student behavior through supports. We want to increase our graduation rate. And ultimately, the last one, which I feel is the most important because it will take care of the rest of the high lofty goals that we have, is we want a variety of learning opportunities and pathways for student success and graduation. That can be career tech, that can be college prep, that can be college credit plus, that can be a lot of different things. And tonight I hope you get a glimpse of some of those things. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Watkins, who's going to begin to talk about growing our culture.
Good evening. I'm here to talk to you all a little bit about the Big Blue Way. As Hamilton moves forward, we have a big focus on growing our culture. And the best and most impactful way we found to do that was the creation of a culture committee. Our culture committee is comprised of all the different facets of the school. We've got students, we've got teachers, we've got administrators, school psychologists, safe and secure monitors. So really everybody who represents the school is present within our committee. We've garnered some feedback from stakeholders in order to identify areas in which we can enhance culture and grow community within our building. We've worked collaboratively with the freshman building in order to create some continuum between the freshman campus and the main campus and help that transition between the two schools run a little more smoothly than it has. Our goal as a committee is to analyze data and implement positive behavior supports in order to increase student outcomes, whether social or academic. In doing so, we can hope to reduce incidents of office referrals and exclusionary consequences, as well as bullying, reported incidents of drug and alcohol use as reported in our Pride survey, all the while continuing to build community and enhance our culture within our building. The Hamilton High School Positive Behavior Supports works and through this multi-tiered framework. This multi-tiered framework supports and provides quality education for all of our students. Sorry. Following the multi-tiered framework, we're able to incorporate systems equity into our daily practices, as well as support staff behavior and support student behavior, increasing social competencies in academic achievement. So throughout, we're able to increase the learning and education for all of our students throughout the building. This idea of the Big Blue Way is not the only way we're working to grow our community and our culture within our building. Mr. Mulberg is going to speak to the house system here as to how that lends a part into culture and community as well.
So as Mr. Zary said, with the house system, it's comprised of a few different individuals and the whole student body for a graduating year. Our goal is to leverage collaboration ultimately to promote student success, both academically as well as personal growth. So I want to tell you a little bit about who makes up that team, and I want to tell you what that work actually looks like on the ground level. So our team consists of, as you can see here, the student body for that graduating year. Additionally, it consists of the house principal, the counselors for that grade band, as well as the house secretary. And so what we do is we start the year by communicating expectations, as Ms. Watkins just showed, to all of our students, so we're all on the same page. Following that up, we meet in a smaller group to promote community inside of that house. Our counselor, our admin assistant, as well as the house principal, we meet and we look at some stuff that looks like this. Now that might not look like very exciting to you, but what that means to me is on track and trending off track and on track for graduation. We want to increase graduation because that means a brighter future for our community and for our students. So one thing that we did was we took a look at these kids and we said, okay, let's take a look and let's see what these kids really need to get back on track for graduation. We kind of tiered things. And we asked them questions like, hey, what goals do you have for yourself? We sat down with them and we said, what do you want to do the rest of this year? What do you need to do to get back on track? We looked at their graduation plan. Now we're going to talk about pathways in a minute, and similar to all of us, things change. And we might need different things in different moments. And as we worked with our students, we found that all of them, they wanted to graduate. Even though many of them were trending off track in this group we met with, they all had goals for themselves. And so what we did is we said, okay, what do you feel like you need to reach these goals? And so I'm excited to share with you what they said and kind of what we're doing to meet them where they're at and support them. There was a large group of students in our target group that said, you know what, in order for me to get back on track for graduation, I could really use some organizational skills. So Ms. Welty, one of our counselors, said, I would love to take that on. Today, actually, this is a picture of students. She had them in a group, and they opened up and just shared how they struggle with organization. Now, to be quite honest, I wasn't sure how it'd go. I'm like, are they really going to share that? A group of 17-year-olds, are they really going to share this? And they did. Each of them shared where they struggle. I start work, but I don't always turn it in. Sometimes it's done, but I just have a hard time walking up to the teacher to give it to them if it's late. And so she asked them, go to your locker, get out all your papers, let's organize them, and let's get started. They're going to be meeting for about the next 6 weeks to grow in skills. There was another group of students who said, you know what I could use? I could use a teacher in this school who I trust to check in with me. And so I sent out a list to teachers of students who said this. And 25 staff members, not just teachers, Safe and Secure, one of our attendance secretaries, even some administrators said, I want to connect with these students. And throughout second semester, they've been checking in. And I ran into a teacher the other day, and she said, I think what you all are doing for our kids is working. We're seeing a difference with these students. And time will tell, I think, as we see them getting back on track towards graduation, the impact of that. Another group said, I really struggle to focus. And these kids, man, they've got my heart because they want it, but they're like, I struggle to focus. And it's hard to see on the screen, but I asked our school psychologist, Ms. Smallwood, I said, hey, I don't know, but what do you think we can do to support these students? And she came up with a huge list and said, let's just sit down with them and let's see what they need. And so they checked some boxes, and we've been meeting regularly to say, hey, what's working? What's not working? And to check in with them on that. Lastly, academic support. I appreciate, Board, you all approving many of our teachers to be tutors to our students after school, and we're excited to get that rolled out. There's some research that shows, and another thing some students said, they said, you know what, I think I could just use a sense of that belonging and connection inside the school. And so clubs, there's some research that shows that with students who participate frequently in extracurricular activities, they do better on tests, they have better positive educational experiences, and they even get higher grades. So I want to thank Blue TV and Mr. Neary for working on this presentation. It's a minute to kind of show you the club offerings we have at Hamilton High School.
HHS boasts some of the finest athletic, career tech, and fine arts programs in the state. However, sometimes students have hobbies and interests that extend beyond these arenas. Because of this, our after-school clubs are a critical component of what we do here at HHS.
We want people to join so they can have somewhere where they feel safe.
We do a lot of fun things in ASL Club that we don't have time for in ASL class.
I'd recommend joining so then you can explore your love of reading.
Club has definitely made me want to enjoy the class.
It is a very good platform for people who are interested in another language. It's just a nice environment, and I'm having fun.
Clubs allow students and advisors to interact in smaller group settings, which allows for stronger rapport building and connections to be made. Staff members volunteer their time in classrooms outside of the school day to work with kids and advise them on meeting their goals for the club.
Well, our book club has been happening for many years. Mr. Baker, the teen librarian at Hamilton Lane Library, started the club several years ago, and we have book clubs at Wilson, Garfield, the freshman campus, and here at Hamilton High.
Well, for the future, we see a lot of things. One thing we really want to do is go talk to the youth of Hamilton and things like that, and tell them about Melanated Matters and tell them that they're so loved.
Clubs help our students feel safe and connected to the larger school community and allow our students to get involved in some amazing opportunities.
Again, I want to thank Blue TV as well as Mr. Neary for putting this together. And I want to thank our staff who give their time after school to support these awesome opportunities for kids. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Funston, who's going to share even more opportunities our students have for pathways as well as opportunities to support their learning here at Hamilton High School.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Joe. Mr. Maltberg was up here. He talked a lot about the culture piece and getting students interested in being a part of Hamilton High. The other side of that coin is the academic piece and the programs that we're offering. Bear with me, I'm trying to get the slideshow caught back up to where we are. At the start of this, and it's going to cut there we go. At the start of this school year, or even before that, really, back in summer, Mr. Zany came on board. One of our big accomplishments last year was we were able to get the graduation up to a 92.5% on campus. Huge accomplishment, it was great, but if you know me, the piece there that I'm thinking is, why are we not at 100? What can we do to better this? How can we try to improve this? The discussions that came out of that are kind of twofold. One side is, what about that 7.5% that were on campus that did not graduate? What can we do to better reach those students? What programming can we put in place to try to assist them? The other side is, we have 92.5% of our kids that are graduating, but once they walk across the stage, are we truly preparing them for additional opportunities once they leave our campus? And those were two problems that we were looking to tackle through the course of this school year. The first part of that was that 7.5%. Mr. Zary, the rest of our team, and Corbin Moore sat down early in the year to look at our literacy within the building. And one thing that we came to discover just kind of sifting through the data was that our English language learner population, as well as our students with disabilities, they were really having an issue with literacy, you know, at the high school level. That was causing a lot of barriers for them accessing curriculum. And Corbin's worked with our staff over the years to provide PD and other opportunities, but we were really looking to take that instruction next level. We had some school improvement grants, and in kind of guidance with Mr. Moore, we decided to partner with Hamilton County ESC. There is an English language learner consultant. Her name is Heidi Messbarger. She has been coming in on a weekly basis working with our English department. The goal of that professional development is she's doing observations, she's providing coaching, support for those teachers, and it's really focused on Tier 1 support. So at heart, yes, it is focused on those English language learners, but as a whole, it's good literacy instruction. We're looking to increase teacher skills. If you look up on the board there on the graph to the bottom right, that is a graph of our teachers' growth, essentially, with the students that they were working with. The green and the light green, that's really good. Everything else, not so good. We were looking, obviously, a large portion of that's green. We're looking to, one, benefit those teachers and give them some tools in the toolbox to try to reach those students. But the other side is, what are we really doing to help those teachers that aren't performing as we should. Heidi's come on board. She's worked a lot with those groups, and we're starting to see some benefits with those ELL and inclusion populations. This is targeted right now, particularly at our sophomore teachers. So the hope is, over the next 3 years, when we get to that class of 2024 graduation, those numbers are steadily increasing. The other side of this is we have that 92.5% that are walking across the stage. They're reaching success, and a large portion of those students are wanting to go to college. They're wanting to do some type of post-secondary education when they leave our campus. Over the past few years, we had partnered with Sinclair Community College to provide CCP courses on campus. So many of these are taught by our HHS staff. They are adjunct professors through Sinclair. Some of them are Sinclair professors that come in. We had a wide variety of course offerings, and as you can see over the years, numbers were up and down. Particularly in that 2021 year, down, which, we can blame on COVID or whatever we want to put it on, but at the end of the day, we want to get those numbers up. One thing that we're looking at with that, if you look at the list of courses that are offered there, we have English, we have social studies, we have science. We didn't have a lot of offerings in math. So Mrs. Gifford, Mrs. Kiger, myself, we looked at kind of the data that our sophomore students are coming into. They're our academic advisors for the sophomore house, do a great job. One of the things that we came to is we have 76 sophomores right now that are eligible for CCP math next year. So those are 76 students that are on our campus that in prior years would not have had the opportunity to take some college level math courses. We are looking to get some of our current HHS staff set up to be adjunct professors offering pre-calc, calculus, and statistics on campus. So not only are they going to be earning that high school credit, but walking out of there with college credit as well. That's on campus. The other side of this is our off-campus CCP opportunity. We have a great resource here in the community through our Miami-Hamilton Regional Campus. It is something that's always been here. It's been an option, but I don't know that we've really used that resource to its fullest potential. As you can see up there through the numbers, over the years, and some of this can be attributed to the fact that we have kids attending class on campus, but our Miami enrollment of high school students was down over the years. Mr. Holbrook came to us with some information that Miami might be willing to partner with us to offer some opportunities for our current sophomore class. And thus was born the Early College Academy. Right now, so you can see in the picture there, members of Miami came on campus to present to our current sophomores. In essence, this is an opportunity for our current sophomores to start junior year taking classes at our regional campuses. They're going to, by the time they finish the program, have obtained an associate's degree as well as their high school diploma. They're going to walk across the stage at our graduation with 62 college credits, the biggest piece being at zero cost to those Hamilton High School students. So we're going to have kids walking across the stage entering college as juniors in college. Biggest piece for our community is it doesn't cost a dime for the family. So a tremendous opportunity. I know they have an informational night on campus next week that a lot of our sophomores are attending. I think we had between 40 and 50 students that were already looking into it at those informational meetings. So just a tremendous opportunity for those students moving forward. The other piece that we're going to look into here, and I'm going to have Mrs. Watkins come back up. We have college graduates, yes, and we're doing things on campus to try to get students to get to that goal. The other side was, what are we really putting in place on campus to assure that those students are still meeting success once they leave us? And Mrs. Watkins is going to come up and talk about some of the future opportunities that we're looking at for students once they've graduated.
As Mr. Funston said, we've created so many opportunities within our school building for success for our students. They've got pathways. There's something for everybody there. We've got all of our clubs. We have all our CCP classes, and we can really have a place for students while they are on our campus. But then that leads to, in 3 months from now when they're no longer on our campus, what are those students going to do? We have a great many students that go on to college, and with those students, we try to do everything in our power to continue to support them while they're still here and let them go with care instead of just kind of letting them on their way. So we created this year a couple of different programs for those students. We had a FAFSA day in November where we had professionals come on campus and they stayed the entire day. I think it was something like 78 families took advantage of that opportunity, came in and had their financial aid forms, help filling those out so that those students are ready to submit them. We have 85 graduates already this school year, so people who, we've had some who graduated in December, we had students who graduated earlier in the year, and we still are able to graduate as we continue to move on. So we've got that opportunity for students as well. Some who have graduated in December were able to go out and begin their coursework in at their college, and so that gives them a head start as well. We had a future planning day, which lent itself to more towards students who were going directly into the workforce. We had over 20 businesses from the community come out to the college and kind of come out to our site and talk to students about what they can move into, local, close companies that they can get hooked up with and then move straight into the workforce. We had over 175 students participate in that. College application day, again, we had over 20 colleges that came to Hamilton High, set up a booth. There were some students who were granted instant admission, and so they were able to know right away if they were able to attend that college. We are also planning another spring career fair, so most of the events occur in the fall because some of our students know they're going off to college and they've got those deadlines. The students who aren't necessarily college bound, they're not in November, they're not thinking about what I'm going to do in May and August and in September. So they don't necessarily take full advantage of some of those earlier events. So we've decided that it would be best case scenario to recreate some of those events for the springtime. So as we're nearing that end point, students are like, whoa, I've got 2 more months, 3 more months. What am I going to do as soon as I walk across that stage? I now have nothing. When I've had this nice little cushy place to go to every day, I'm going to have nothing now. So we will be, at the end of April, having another spring career fair where, again, we will bring in different companies from around Hamilton to come in and they can do applications, they can do instant interviews on the spot and things like that, so that these students are exposed to different things that, when you think about some of the factories and you think about factory work, you don't necessarily think about factories as they are today. And so to have these places come and kind of expose students to those experiences is going to be great for their kids. So again, for students who are planning to go directly into the workforce and not taking the college route, we've done some collaboration with Chris Cannell. He has helped to place 40 of our students in the community into jobs already this year. I believe, I'm not gonna steal your thunder. He's got his own presentation, but I think the goal was to place 5 Hamilton High students in internships throughout the course of the year, and we have managed to place 40 different students into the community in different locations. So that is a huge success. Some of our Butler Tech students are currently co-oping inside their field as well. As we move forward, next steps that we're going to take, pre-pandemic, Ohio Meets Jobs used to come in and they would work with our students on resume writing and interview skills and enhancing some of those soft skills that employers talk about that high school students sometimes lack. And so we will, moving into the future, have them come back in and do a series with our students where it helps them interview and it helps them create that resume and speak with employers. And also another program that we have is our CCMEP program, and that is a program that hooks students up with jobs, but it also provides supports for students who might need some help getting transportation to and from school. or to and from work. So they can help with that transportation piece. If they don't have a driver's license, they can help work with students to get a driver's license to be able to work on their own. If they need uniforms, they can work to get uniforms, any type of training, anything like that, anything that a student would need, any type of barrier that is keeping them from having a job, our CCMEP program works with. So not only are we providing these great opportunities while students are within our walls, but we're also setting them up to have success once they do leave us.
And so you've heard a fraction of everything that is going on since August of this year. Yeah, I remember, it feels like just a short time ago when I stood up here and was introduced and got to speak to you about how excited I was to become the next principal of Hamilton High School and had no clue what I was stepping into. But I can tell you this, I can't be more proud to wake up every day to be the principal of the high school in this community. You heard from 3 people today, and that's not an act. Like this is what I get to work with every day. You have teachers that do the same thing, and you have kids with a passion. We're gonna look forward to the end of this school year, but there are so many other things that I look forward from a year now, standing and telling you what else has been implemented. And I don't want to pull the curtain back all the way and release some of that, but there's going to be continued partnerships. We've been in collaboration with Butler Tech and some new programs for sophomores to help bolster not just the career piece, but the development of our students as a whole. So we're going to push the envelope. We're going to take risk, calculated risk, Mr. Elbrook. But we're going to look at data. You know, now that we're back to some normal where we have data on a regular basis coming in, it helps us to reflect after we try things and we see that there's success, and then I want to push further. What else can we do? How else can we make this better and more meaningful for our students that will benefit them well beyond their years as they leave Hamilton High School? So I want to say thank you again. This is our closing. I apologize, ladies. Other principals are looking at me like, you better wrap this up. But I don't want to say goodbye because we want to say see you soon, because on May 24th at 7:30, we're going to welcome the graduating class of 2022 into Virgil Schwarm Stadium again. Thank you all for your time, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Zary, I guess you may know this, but there's another success to report from Hamilton High. Alec Bullard, who's been a graduate, and I think, all of his brothers have been through NJROTC. Alec Bullard just got promoted to being a captain in the United States Army.
That's great. That's great.
John, I want to just thank your team, you and your team, for meeting kids where they are. And that I'm so excited by hearing about building culture over at Hamilton High School. I love the idea of the checking in and just creating those relationships and having the kids take responsibility for their own actions, like what organization. Boy, I could have used that word. Well, I still could, but that's another story. But having them identify those as their needs and how they can meet those needs are so important for our kids. So I want to thank you guys for just really focusing on the students and what they need. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great job.
And Mr. Zary, before you take a seat, I probably am one of the few people in this room that can appreciate the life of a high school principal. And I can tell you, your transition has been smooth. You know, you have a brand new administrative team that you've worked with. You and Mr. Malberg, it's your first year in the high school. And Mr. Funston, you know, being a grizzled veteran with now 2 years at the high school. And Miss Watkins is now the holder of all knowledge, and she's been an administrator about 3 or 4 years at the high school. So young, energetic, continue with the good ideas, continue with the new ideas, strategic in what you do, and taking chances that have a high rate or return on investment is really important to our students. But we are certainly moving forward, and with your leadership, I have every confidence in the world that the high school will continue to thrive. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up, we have a presentation from Ridgeway Elementary, Kathy Wagenfield and Hillary Snively.
You got it. Okay. Thanks for having us. This is us right here. This is the beginning of the year. Wonderful, wonderful Ridgeway staff. Look at those shirts we're wearing. Go to the next slide because you have to explain them. That is our theme for this school year, swag. We all have swag. And that means students with academic goals and staff with academic goals. And that was our year-long theme. It might be one of my favorite themes we've ever done. If I didn't think I was going to wear it out, but we always are going to keep up with our goals anyways. But I'm going to tell you about how our goal went this year academically. We got together at the beginning of the year and redid our vision, mission, and core values. We attended some great administrative retreats and meetings and seminars, and we learned that they're on two different. Very good. Okay.
Give me a nod.
And we learned about the goals from our district right here. So we went back and created our administrative goals to mirror the exact district goals. We asked our teachers and our building goals for the teachers, and then the teachers' individual goals. They were all the same. They all mirrored each other. We're all heading in the same direction. And we were very, very proud of that.
So just like our building, admin, and teacher goals, our students also have swag by creating their own academic goals. They collaborated with their teachers and created individualized action plans based on their MAP scores from fall. They always keep their goals at the forefront of their education. They have these charts that you can see in the picture here with their goals on it and how to achieve those goals. They keep them in the front of their binders or their folders. And then we also have a fourth grader here video we can show you. I hope that I can get this.
My fall score 188, and my winter goal was 195, and I got 205. And my action plan was to just stay focused and focus on my own things and not other people's.
Yeah, it's really, really good because when the teachers sit down with the students individually as they graph how they're doing after each MAP test. And the teacher and the student can together create goals just for that one student. What does he need? What does she need? Is it focused? Is it a little extra work? Is it a little more gumption? Or does the teacher really need to sit down individually and work with that child?
Hi, my name is Kennedy.
So here is just another set. These are, the last slide was a fourth grader, so these are some of our third grade students. And then Andrea can go ahead and play that video for us.
My name is Brooklyn. I reached my winter goal by practicing and doing more practice at my house. Then my winter goal was 186, but I got 82. My name is Brooklyn.
Okay, so after we take the MAP test, we created action plans for the teachers. And the plans were strictly geared toward filling the gaps. However, this is a sample. This wasn't just a simple thing. We created, actually with the help of our wonderful coaches, we created a plan for every teacher. Every teacher had their quadrant of how they did for that particular MAP test. And then as they went down, you don't see it because we deleted the names under the blue. They had names of every student who needed just those skills. And that was their plan. That's their action plan. all of those skills just lined out for them in both language arts and math. So they created those, they worked with them, they said, okay, we're gonna need to work with this group 5 days, this group 2 days, and planned it all out. So then, we go to our small group schedules, then their job was to turn into me exactly when they're meeting with what group and what they're gonna be doing. That's what gets monitored, gets done, and they're doing it. They are meeting with those groups. Again, we had to cross out student names, but see how detailed they are. How many days, what they're, and I can tell exactly what skill that they should be working on with each group. In order to get all this accomplished, we have to have rigorous instruction. And rigor doesn't mean harder or faster. It means using our district essentials, meeting individual needs. Most importantly, really, really rich Tier 1 instruction with best, you're fine, with best practices and high-level thinking. So that's something we're focusing on as well.
So, in the elementary world, we know that co-teaching has been a big push here in Hamilton. So that's also tied to our building teacher and admin goals, is to have the co-teaching partnerships collaborating to best meet the needs of our kids, to provide differentiated and effective instruction. So we know that we feel that it's been very effective this year in meeting the needs, but let's hear from a student and how they feel.
Go ahead and tell me why you like having 2 teachers better than 1.
I like having 2 teachers because we get double the learning, and when we're doing morning work and I need help with a question, when Miss White's doing something and she's helping somebody do something with a question, I can ask Miss Schomburg for help.
Good. Would you rather have 2 teachers in the room or 1?
2.
Why?
Because if I only had 1 teacher, when the teacher's helping somebody else with a question, she can't help me with the question. And then everybody probably needs help with the question, half the class maybe, and then all of them just start standing around her and waiting for her to answer the question, and then it just gets crazy.
And then that way, when you have 2 people, there's always somebody that can be there to help you.
Yep.
Talk to me about, go ahead and tell me why you started. And that way, when you have 2 people, there's always somebody that can be
You're
there.
good.
You're okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Talk.
It just gave you an idea.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
One of our quotes from our opening day with our staff was to make every second count. So that goes along with adults and for students. So here's some pictures of our 5th and 6th graders coming down during breakfast time, making every second count with the kids while they're in the buildings with us. And they're just working on some sight words or just, whatever that kid needs in the primary grades. We also have our 2nd grade teachers, Miss Jackson, Miss Banks, their co-teaching partnership. They are doing readers theater with their kids. So it's just an additional way for their kids to apply the skills that they were taught in the classroom in a different, unique way.
Kagan, some new best practices that teachers just learned this year, already in motion at most of the buildings, I think, from what I'm reading. Again, that's part of our rigor, including this great instructional strategy. And there they are using it in kindergarten and in 5th grade. We'll just kind of slowly go through this. When we had our brief time doing virtual learning, look at this. This is our newspaper. I don't know how many pages is it? About 20 pages long. With nothing but quotes from parents. Every single teacher has 1 or more quotes in there about, wow, this was not a waste of time. It was done, and it was done well. And we were just so proud. We wanted to highlight the teachers because, man, they really, really went out of their way to make this a great experience for the kids.
So this was a sixth grade classroom, English Language Arts, Miss Brownfield. A few weeks ago, she had an econ project where they created their own company. They had to create a company name, slogan, logo, and prices. They also had to create a poster for advertising to try to convince the audience to purchase their items. They also wrote a script, filmed a commercial, directed it and everything. And then they actually had admin, teachers, other students come and actually use, it was very cute. Fake money with the teacher's face on it. It's hilarious. I should have put it on here. But they were able to, you know, work cooperatively in groups and come up with a product, sell it, and use all of their language arts skills and apply it to this PBL kind of setting. This is a fifth grade classroom using carousel teaching strategy, just like we learned recently when the Kagan training as well in a recent PD. So students in this classroom are using the carousel feedback so that they are looking at each other's like strategies and giving them feedback, and then like kind of doing a gallery walk. So it's just another layer of how we can use rigorous content or engage New York and doing it in an effective way.
And here's just a sample again. We're talking about rigor of students. And we're not going to be able to do that.
Here, I've got mine.
That's okay. It's very, very short. We just had them do a little excerpt of what they're writing. There too. But oh my goodness, the writing skills that these students are learning is amazing. I mean,
3 and 4, it says, a big beast likes you to bite a poor little dog. I didn't bite him. Most lions would have bitten him, but he did not.
It's cereal. But they are amazing. A lot of things going on, you know, to help kids, a lot of rigor, a lot of best practices. We have things going on after school. We really wanted to concentrate on just our swag for now, but I have to put a little plug in because some of the high-level thinking that's going on contributes to this. A teacher that is running a Rubik's Cube Club after school. I'm pretty sure this was the third week, not the second. I think it was the third week that she's done it. But we already have 6 kids who can master the Rubik's Cube in no time at all. 6 kids after meeting 1 hour 3 times. We have some kids, thanks to our math coach, who got our teachers excited about a program that we're using in our district, Mathletics. Our kids are participating in all kinds of competitions. They just finished a 2-day competition, and out of thousands and thousands and thousands, and I'm not kidding you, schools in the world, we came in, we ranked 150. And that is really awesome.
That's really good.
Amazing stuff. We also have some kids, individual kids in our district that ranked in the 1-digit numbers. We don't have the final numbers yet, but that's coming up. So really, really great things going on. So anyway, there's the swag. So how do we know everything we're doing is working? Well, here is just a brief graph that talks about our reading program. And I don't know if you've been shown these quadrants or not. Okay, good. But this shows our progress from fall to winter. And we want all of our kids on the top half, and then we want them over to the right as far as possible. We want them to have high growth and high achievement, of course. But look at this, and look at our growth. All of these kids are way up. 2nd grade, I'm going to make an excuse, and then I'm going to take it back. But those are our kiddos who lost out in kindergarten and 1st grade. Man, if we didn't have co-teachers, I don't know what we would do. I mean, I can't imagine where they would be. But I'm very, very, very pleased and proud of this. It is one snapshot. We continue to progress monitor doing other data, using other data in between these math tests to make sure that we're teaching kids the right thing. The next one is math. Same thing, fourth grade is still down a little bit, and second. But then if you look at our whole school all together, including all the grades together, that's where we fall on the quadrant. So we're very pleased. We're not all the way pleased because, of course, most administrators and teachers are slightly competitive. And we want to be up there in the top right-hand section of that quadrant with high achievement and high growth. So that's what we're pushing for. And all of these things that we're doing are helping us get there. So here we go for next year. Next year's theme is Illuminate. And we are gonna be lighting up the new year with knowledge, spotlighting our students, casting a light on topics to gain perspectives, enlightening ourselves and brightening our world with really smart kids. That's all we got.
Kathy, I want to thank you. I wish you'd have a little bit more enthusiasm. You're kind of low-key tonight, but knowing you over these years and seeing what you're doing with your school, it just amazes me the ways you find to help kids learn. And whether it's the Rubik's Cube, and by the way, we want a board-in service on that. I think we know somebody might be a better connection than even you. But just finding like the little businesses and all the different strategies you're using. And I know that's just the tip of the iceberg, knowing you and what's going on in your building. But thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for working on that. Yeah.
Thank you. Good job. I was threatened last night not to say a word today when you were presenting, but I'm very impressed with what's going on over in your building. I hear every day of the great things going on. And then when I see my two grandchildren who are over there, they love to go to school and they're enjoying it. And that's important. The kids enjoy.
Culture.
Yep. Exactly. So good job.
Thank you.
Kathy, during these last 2 years, it's been very difficult to be in school administration anywhere. And I will say I completely value and appreciate your leadership that you've demonstrated, not just towards your building, but district-wide on various committees and assisting us through these unprecedented times. You've been a true district leader. You've been a community leader, and it shows in your building, and it shows throughout this community, and I want to personally thank you for that. Hillary, coming in for the first year, I'm sure that you have learned an awful lot this year, but your contributions to contribute greatly to that culture that Mr. Davison was speaking about, and we look forward to whatever Illuminate means next year. I'm not quite sure what, but I'm excited to see what the future brings. Thank you both.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
And then finally, we do have one last presentation this evening. It is from Brookwood Elementary, and here tonight is Marianne Hazlett and Whitney Conrad.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. It's funny, our theme for this year was, we got this. We keep saying it every day. We got this.
Multiple times a day.
Not a problem. So we would like to get started with it. Our first slide. Thank you. It all started with a plan. Yes, a professional growth plan. Our PGP is part of OTES 2.0. It helps teachers focus on areas of professional development. It also enables them to improve their practice. There's an element of administrative feedback with that, as well as teacher self-assessment, so that we can have them continually grow and improve their teaching skills. It also aligns to the district goals, and by setting these goals, we have committed our thoughts, our words, and our actions towards attaining teacher performance and student achievement. As you can see, our district goals and school goals focus on co-teaching, using data to drive instruction, and the use of robust instruction in all of our classrooms.
Our first goal focuses on the blessing that is co-teaching. And with that, I feel like we have reached students more than we've ever seen before. Our teachers with the co-teaching model, K through 3, they've always been great at collecting data and doing things with the data, driving their instruction with data, but now they're doing it more than ever. And we've been in multiple buildings, me as an AP at our cabinet meetings. Every building I go to, obviously including Brookwood, when you walk into those rooms, you see your teachers, there's small groups with the kids doing small group intervention, enrichment, skill groups, whether it be reading or math. And it is a beautiful thing to see. It's been very powerful and the data shows.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the next one. So a wise man once said, "You win with people."
I think that was Michael.
That was Mike Holbrook. And we hit the jackpot with a lot of our co-teaching teams, and we brought one of them tonight. We actually call them the twins.
We do.
They did not know each other until this year. We have Allie Glab and Katie Chadwick. Allie was actually, she's been at Brookwood for 4 years. She was an intervention specialist for 2 years and then a second grade teacher for the other 2. Katie was at Winton Woods and came to Hamilton. She was a 5th grade teacher at Winton Woods for 2 years. So this is her first year doing 2nd grade. And how we put them together is a really good story.
We did something called the Personality 16, and it is kind of a Carl Jung Myers-Briggs hybrid online personality test. And we get the results and they're plotted, and you have to really figure out who would do well with whom. And the twins absolutely have embodied the beauty of that personality test. So as you can see from the slide, the partnership between an organized, dedicated protector and a caring, social, eager beaver. See if you can figure out which is one. Okay, if you'd hit the. We're gonna hit the video and Carol's twins. Okay.
We'll play the video after. That's okay.
Oh, you want to talk
Sorry,
first?
sorry, yeah, sorry.
I'm Katie. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we do this. We do this pretty regularly, unintentionally. Tonight was intentionally. I'm Katie Chadwick.
And I'm Allison Glab.
And we're 2nd grade co-teachers at Brookwood.
We're very happy to have this opportunity to speak with you tonight and share some of our co-teaching experiences. With 2 teachers, it's possible for small groups to be run all day, every subject.
Our students spend 90% of their day in small groups, and this gives us the chance to hone in on certain skills that each child needs.
So there's no chances for students to get lost in the whole group setting.
Our experience has been so positive, and we wanted to share some of the accomplishments that our students have made this year.
On the winter map reading assessment, 70% of our students met or exceeded their growth target.
On the winter math assessment, 90% of our students met or exceeded their growth target.
And then we had one student increase 36 points.
And 100% of our students grew from their fall map scores on both assessments.
Here's a little video.
Because I answer more questions and I called the other students to answer more questions, so I think that's good for them. Because they're besties and they work together, and I love being in small groups with them. Because we get to go into small groups and learn. Because if you had one, you couldn't learn as much, and when you have two, you can learn more. Because you don't have to do one group, you can do small groups. Because they can get more things done. Because it's easier to learn. They can answer our questions quickly. friends are twins and best friends.
So we just wanted you to see firsthand the benefits that co-teaching has had on our students.
So we want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight and for the opportunity to co-teach.
I didn't even match with them on purpose, but I told them I want to be a triplet.
It's true. She does. So let's talk about our next goal, and that is based on data-driven decision-making. That has truly impacted the learning and teaching at Brookwood because both teachers and staff, both students and teachers have goal setting, and we're able to ensure that our students are growing all along the way. We reviewed, personally, the two of us, every single teacher's schedule and compared it to the essentials that they should have every day in the framework for literacy, and to make sure that each of those sections were represented down to the minute, painstakingly, but it was well worth it. Our current winter data, now that was from the last time we took the MAP test, indicates that 51% of our students have already shown 1 year's growth in the area of literacy and math.
Our third goal focuses on the use of robust instruction. So with our teachers, that it also includes our intervention specialists and our intervention teachers, all tiered levels of instruction is being provided. So with OTES 2.0 this year, I've loved the professional growth plans because we've sat down with each individual teacher to create goals for the year. And what I've done with my teachers for their action steps is to make sure to make it a goal to meet with their instructional coaches just to improve their practices in the classroom. So our coaches, they've been an amazing help for our teachers, with many of them being new to the building. We've had the co-teachers observing teachers, providing them with rich feedback. We've had the co-teachers in the classrooms modeling, and it's been a wonderful thing. But the biggest thing is all the professional development that's been provided within the building throughout the year.
Yeah. The staff at Brookwood, we added 13 new staff members this year. We have over 800 years of teaching experience. That's a lot. That's a lot of differentiated instruction based on student individual formal and formal assessment results. So, you know what's next.
Yep. ZAP is back.
It's back.
You can go on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. Get ready.
I don't know how loud it's gonna be.
Get ready,
It's a little
yeah.
long, so I'll read while it's playing. So, ooh. Maybe I shouldn't talk. It's pretty good.
You can watch and listen, right?
This is ZAP. After a 2-year break, ZAP is back. It stands for Zany Amazing Percussion. It's a Brookwood percussion club that was actually created by our music teacher, Julie Froud. She created it back in 2010 when the building was up and running for the first time. The club meets once a week, and it's for our students in grades 4 through 6. And so many of them sign up for it that there's actually still a waiting list for it. So they enjoy it very, very much. They have a variety of ORF percussion instruments while incorporating movement, as you can see in the video. Their pieces are collaborative, and inspiration comes from many different sources.
Very nice. You know, I have to say, while we were watching the presentation from Hamilton High School, and even the similarity to what we have at Ridgeway, you can see that we are all together working positively to impact our students. The next part is something that we're really proud of, and that's our Lego League. Lego League is also an after-school activity that is award-winning within our district. Special thanks to Steve for covering that for us. I appreciate that. If you'd like to check out the Lego League, you have to really watch it, though, to be there, to experience how these kids are. It's amazing.
Hi, welcome to Lego League at Brookwood Elementary. We have 10 members on our team and we meet 2 times a week. We do an innovative project and we program robots.
This year for our project, we had to identify a real-world problem with transportation of cargo and then come up with a solution for that problem. For our project, we found that Denali National Park in Alaska uses dog sleds in the winter to transport cargo through the park because the Wilderness Act of 1964 says absolutely no motors or noise in the park to protect the wilderness. The problem that we found is that with climate change, the snow is melting too early in the season and the sleds can't go through the gravel, mud, and creeks.
So we designed some sled skates that pop right onto the runners. The skates will have wheels and rubber tracks. We met with a park ranger from Zany National Park on a Zoom call 2 different times.
We visited Hamilton Casper's after school one day and got to tour their factory and learn about robots.
You want to say our robots? We built these Lego Mindstorm robots. They have motors, sensors, and ultrasonic sensors. These are our robots. Here's our best working one. Yes, Here's our. This is one of our older ones. We code to make our robots do different tasks on our table. For instance, right here we had medium motor resets. That way, if one of our motors are not working, it will work up. And then we drive forward with this one and reverse with this one. We program robots to go faster, slower, to turn, and to deliver things. The robot has to unload the cargo plane, and this is how it looks like. Then the robot has to come over here and then push this out of here. The best parts about Lego League are making new friends, discovering lots of new things in science, using engineering and physics, learning to code, building robots with Legos. We got to do a lot of problem solving to make the robots do what we want them to do. Practicing our presentation skills. We get to think outside the box. That means to think about things in new ways. Because there's more than one way to solve a problem.
Aren't they adorable? I can't even program my alarm to go off, and these kids, seriously, to watch them, they do a beautiful job. We are so proud to be here tonight. Brookwood is definitely in the business of growing confident, learning, compassionate young boys and girls, and we are just proud to be a part of it. So, thank you so much.
Mary Ann, thank you for giving this year from your retirement back to Hamilton Schools. You are very much appreciated, very much appreciated.
Thank you.
And to see what's going on over at Brookwood, that's great. It's really great.
Thanks.
I love the Legos. I'm going, where was this a few years ago?
Oh my gosh, it is the neatest thing,
Yeah,
just to watch
yeah,
them.
yeah.
It really blows my mind. And shout out to Christy Bunger for leading the Lego teams. Even when we were having snow, those kids were getting together and they're literally programming these little
Yeah.
Lego
That's great.
creatures.
Yeah.
It's amazing, so.
And
Future
personally, I
engineers.
like the drums too, but that's just to say that to get.
Right, well, I
like the
know
drums.
why,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
There's a group of future engineers right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Just one comment, and I've always said this, and this to Andrea and all of you. I am always so impressed when you come up here and present what's going on in each one of your schools and seeing how these kids are being educated and taken care of. Thank you. It's not an easy job, and we appreciate it, and it's so obvious that you care about our kids, and thank you for that.
And thank you to the twins too. Great job.
Yes.
I want to first recognize the co-teachers. That's brave to get up here during your first year or two of teaching and to do that. And we appreciate your insights on that. We're thrilled to death to provide that opportunity, and we do believe investing in our people and seeing those results are going to be the best use of ESSER funds that the state of Ohio has seen. Whitney and Mary Ann, I know this year has been an extremely challenging year from a leadership standpoint. I know in your building in particular, you've dealt with a significant number of challenges, and you both have led with dignity. You both have led proudly and haven't shied away from some of those more difficult challenges. Mary Ann, thank you.
Yes.
Personally, thank you. You filled a void that we had this year at Brookwood, and I'll be personally forever grateful for you giving us that time, giving our students that time, giving the community this time, and you know, I think very highly of your leadership. Obviously, we've had those talks, but I want to publicly thank you for all your time that you put in this year, and we'll continue to do so until the very end, but thank you very much.
Thank you. This time is public participation. I don't think we have any, so Mr. Holbrook.
Yes, I have a few announcements tonight, President Sprague, and the first is a reminder to parents is that the fourth quarter did start on March 14th, so we are now a week and a half into the fourth quarter. It is a very important quarter, but also during the next 6 weeks, your children, most anyway, will be taking some portion of state tests, either in language arts and math, either at the elementary or high school. And so be aware, during this 6-week period, we will have state testing throughout our buildings. We will be taking a week hiatus from the state tests with our spring break, which is April 11th through 15th. And we do want people to just get away and enjoy 5 days away and try to relax, cross our fingers that the weather cooperates with that. And then when we come back, an exciting thing that we are bringing back this year, and we got huge positive feedback, is that we are hosting high school graduation again this year at Virgil Schwarm Stadium on May 24th. And that was the first time in quite a while that graduation has been held at the high school campus. And, you know, the wild card's always weather, but the accessibility of our parents to the stadium and the proximity it is to the city of Hamilton and the availability that we have tapping into the resources in the city from restaurants and things of that nature just make it a really positive atmosphere for the entire city. And so we look forward to that. May 24th, 7:30, knock on wood, no rain. and those are some really exciting events coming up here in the next few months.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Board members, you have the consent agenda in front of you. You reviewed it. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, sir.
I'll second.
Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Sprague?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Isgro?
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock.
Mr. President?
Pardon me, before we move on, unbeknownst to some, and maybe even some up here, we just hired 3 new administrators.
I'm sorry, my apologies. My apologies.
We just hired 3 new administrators that I would like to quickly recognize this evening. We're excited about them coming into Hamilton City Schools and look forward to what they can bring. We can learn as much from those coming in as they can learn from us. The first I want to introduce is going to be our new Brookwood Elementary principal, Eileen Ernst. Eileen, you want to come up and say a few words? And you get one of these few but proud portfolios. Many want them, you get them.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very excited to serve the Hamilton community. I'm in my 21st year in education. I've been a teacher, a behavior intervention coordinator, and an administrator. And I'm just eager to bring my experience and my passion here to Hamilton. Everyone I have met so far is so dedicated to our students, our families, and the staff here in Hamilton. I think it was very evident by the presentations tonight. And I realize that I have big shoes to fill, but I am very excited to be a part of the Hamilton community. So thank you.
Welcome.
The second individual is going to step in as the assistant principal at Bridgeport Elementary, Becky Davis. And once again, these may be a little less precious than I think the way I'm
I've heard great things about this, so I'm excited. My name is Becky Davis. I'm so excited to be joining the Hamilton community. The welcome that I've gotten since I was hired has just been amazing. I've been welcomed with open arms, and I can't wait to start working with Mrs. Oakes and just planning and really digging my heels in and getting things done. So thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
And finally, the last individual this evening is going to be our new assistant principal at Riverview Elementary, Anne Marie Barth. And yeah, one of these beautiful.
All right, Cool Kids Club, thank you. I just want to say thank you to the board and thank you to the Hamilton community. I'm excited. Met with Josh already a couple times. Looking forward to being able to use my experience to bring to the community here. I'm in my 20th year. I've been an instructional coach, a data coach, and taught kindergarten and second grade. So kind of a good wealth of knowledge here, but excited to work with Josh and the Riverview community. Thanks.
Welcome.
Now, Mr.
There you go.
Hancock.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. As treasurer, I have a few items for the agenda tonight. There are 3 confirming purchase orders, a couple of donations, which we have letters of appreciation prepared for the president's signature, so obviously we recommend the board accept those. And then finally, the financial reports for February of 2022. This puts us 7 months into the fiscal year, and we had anticipated revenue of $65.6 million. We've actually received $68.4 million, or $2.8 million more than anticipated. Don't get excited, because it's going to fix itself. So when you look at that financial report, darn. General property tax. The estimate was $7.85 million. You're at $11,129,000, so $3.279 million more. But what I want you to look at is the following 2 columns to the right. You can see why we made the estimate the way we did, because last year the tax advance came in this month, or came in the next month. And so this year it actually came in like it did in February 2020. And that's fine. Those will typically do that a little bit over that line, one year to the next. Not an indication of where tax collections are going, so we think we're in fine shape at this point. We'll have the full story probably in the next 2 months. We'll get a little more information this month. I know we did receive another advance, but again, that's not the final story. Unrestricted grants and aid running $324,555 lower than planned. That, along with the $22,548 for restricted grants and aid, comprise your state funding. I will say there's a lot of flux going on right now as they implement the state foundation formula. And so we're seeing where they caught a lot of money up in January. They made another adjustment in February. So hopefully they get to this to where it really flushes out and kind of settles down. But when I look at the overall numbers, the numbers are the same as it was last year at the end. So I think we'll come out just fine. All other operating revenue running $128,101, lower than anticipated. This one, I think it's going to recover because we got a Medicaid settlement out there that I'm aware of, it's a 6-digit number, and the first digit number is a crooked number that starts with 8. So that's gonna be a good number when it does come in. In this case, crooked means it's not a 1.
Yeah.
So we're moving along there, but I know I saw that letter probably 2 months ago, so it's probably gonna hit before the end of the fiscal year, is my thought. And again, Medicaid reimbursements, we don't bank on getting those on any particular timeline. Those are really, we just kind of look at those as windfalls and good news. And so they're factored in that way. On expenditures, we anticipated $63,257,000, spent $63,516,000, $259,000, almost $260,000 more than anticipated. Salaries are scary close at $10,704. And so we're glad to see they're where they're at. Fringe benefits running a little higher than planned, and we'll see where that's at. We've got a lot of money changing because of grants this year, and so we'll look at that again as we do the May forecast update. A lot of that work will take place in April, and we'll report back to you what we find there. Again, the capital outlay, $100,388, and that's the same number as what we've spent, because we know at the end of the year, we will move those dollars over to the permanent improvement fund. The best way for us to track that and to keep people from spending money twice is just to let that happen and let us go ahead and make an adjustment at the end of the year, because they can spend it out of their departmental budget or their building budget in small amounts, and that's what that is. So I'd say we're running fine, and we'll continue to keep you apprised of how we're doing.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
Any questions from? Second. Okay, second. Any questions? Mr. Hancock?
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Isgro?
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Sprague?
Yes. Any other business before the board? At this time, our next meeting will be on April 21st at 4 p.m. And do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.